Hey guys, so this is part 2 of dividing binomials, and we are going to, or dividing polynomials by a binomial, and we're going to use what we call synthetic division. And Cookie's getting tired, so I picked her up and she wanted to say hi to everybody. Hi there! And she says this is the last video for today for us. But if you have part 3, it means I recorded it on a different day, because I'm going to take her home right after we finish this video. So we've got x to the fourth minus 2x to the third plus 3x plus 1 divided by x minus 3. So synthetic division is kind of a shortcut to dividing, which is really, really helpful, and it's really nice. And it works. It's a little bit confusing, but it works. So what we have to do here is we have to realize that our divisor is always x minus a, right? So here, x minus 3, we know that a is equal to 3. So that's the first thing we have to find. So a is equal to 3. So we kind of write it in kind of a corner over here, okay? And then we're going to write our dividend, but we have to write it in order. So we have an x to the fourth and x to the third. We don't have an x to the second, or x squared, so we're going to have to put plus 0 x squared plus 3x plus 1, okay? But we're not going to write that whole thing. We're just going to write the coefficients. The coefficients are the numbers that are being multiplied, right? The big numbers in front. So right here, there's not a coefficient there, then we know it's a 1. So we're going to write 1, and we're going to leave ourselves some space. We're going to write -2, and then we're going to write 0, and we're going to write 3, and we're going to write 1. So we have to write those all in order. This is to the fourth, to the third, squared, to the first, to the 0, okay? And then we leave a space, and we draw ourselves a line, okay? So far, so good? So all we did was we found a, and we wrote the coefficients down. So we bring the first coefficient down to here, right? And then we're going to multiply. 3 times 1 is going to give us 3. And then across here, this part, we find the sum. So if the signs are the same, we add them and keep the sign. If the signs are different, we subtract and keep the bigger absolute, which is always what we do. So technically adding. So -2 plus 3 is going to be 1, right? And then we multiply again. 3 times 1 is 3. And then we're going to add. 0 plus 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. And we're going to add. Oh, you know what? Nope, that's right. Then 9 plus 3 is 12. 3 times 12 is 36. 1 plus 36 is 37. Okay? Okay, so now I'm going to write my answer, right? That's all the work you have to do to all that dividing. So here, since it started off with x to the fourth, my quotient is going to be one exponent less than that. So instead of x to the fourth, it's going to be 1x to the third. And you don't have to write that 1 in front if you don't want to. So x to the third, this one's going to represent 1x squared. This one's going to represent plus 3x. This one's going to represent plus x to the 0, or just plus 12, plus, and this is my remainder, 37 over my divisor, so x minus 3. Okay? So you took what was a really complicated problem and you made it much, much simpler. So good job. Okay? So if you're ready, you can go ahead and find, for the second one, 6x squared minus 5x minus 6 divided by x plus 3. Remember that it's always x minus a. So to write x plus 3 in this format would be x minus a minus 3. So a equals a -3. Okay, so I don't want you to get confused on that. But they're already written in order: x squared, x to the first, x to the 0. So go ahead and push pause if you're ready to try to fill that in. And I'm going to go ahead and work on this. So I've got a is equal to 3, so I'm going to put, a is equal to -3. So I'm going to put that over here in the corner. And I'm going to write my coefficients down. So I've got 6. I'm going to leave a space, -5. I'm going to leave a space, -6. And I'm going to draw a line. and I'm going to bring the first coefficient down, and I'm going to multiply. Negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. Okay, and remember that I find the sum of these. So 18 plus 5 is negative 23, and I multiply negative 23 times 3. So 23 times 3 is 69. So negative times a negative is going to be positive. 60, whoops. I had subtracted that in my head already was the problem. 69, so positive 69 and a negative 6. I'm going to subtract or take the difference, and I'm going to get 63 positive. Okay, so my answer here, since this is x squared, my quotient is going to start with x to the first. So 6x to the first, or just x, right, minus 23. See, it's cooking. It was time to go because I'm starting to get making silly mistakes. Minus 23 plus, and this is my remainder. So 63 goes on the top, x plus 3 goes on the bottom. And that is my solution. Hey guys, so we're on to the last one, and I had to erase what I did because, like I said, I'm making silly mistakes. If you can work this one on your own, go ahead, because it's not a complicated question. It's just that I'm starting to make silly mistakes, which happens. So remember that this is x minus a always, and we want to find out what a is. So in this case, a equals x minus 6. A is equal to 6. Okay, and I had accidentally put negative 6 here and worked it out and got something completely what I knew could not be correct. So 6 is here, and that's our a. And then I'm going to go ahead and write my coefficients. If I check x squared, x to the first, x to the 0, they're already in order and they're all there. So all I have to do is write the coefficients. I'm going to write 1, negative 3, negative 18. Okay, I'm going to draw my line, and remember that I'm adding here. So I'm going to bring the first one down, straight down, and then I'm going to go ahead and multiply. 1 times 6 is 6. And even though I can't erase it that well, I'm going to put a plus sign there so we don't get confused. I'm going to go ahead and put a plus sign there so because we can see that minus underneath, so I don't want us to do that. So negative 3 plus 6 is going to be 3, right? Positive 3. And then 3 times 6 is 18. So we're going to add those together. We have a negative 18 and a positive 18, which is going to give us 0. So since it started with x squared, our answer is going to start with x. So we have 1x plus 3, and we have no remainder. So I don't have to even put anything there for my remainder. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you guys to work page 170, numbers 19 through 22. Okay, I think that's what I want. Let me double check. 19 through 22. Okay, and please, if you have questions, raise your hand, change your cups, ask each other, ask me, do something. Okay, but get some help. Thanks, guys.